Hey everybody, thanks for joining class today. Feel free to pause the video here and turn on any music you'd like to have going on, and as well gather any props. And it's no problem if you don't have yoga props. Any old blanket will do, a cushion. I've also got an old tie that I use as a yoga strap. So feel free to grab one of those props and put it under your sit bones. That makes it a bit easier to sit up straight and find neutral spine. And by that, I mean finding the three natural curves of the spine: the lumbar, the mid-spine, the thoracic, and the cervical spine. Once you've found your neutral spine, root down through your tailbone and reach up through the crown of your head, creating space between your vertebrae. And then if you like, you can lower your gaze or gently close your eyes. If it's available to you, start to breathe in and out through your nose. At first, just noticing your breath and the qualities of it. And then maybe starting to increase the length by exhaling out a little bit more air on your next exhale and inhaling an equal amount. So bringing in evenness and equalness to our inhales and exhales. And then just notice the physical sensations of that breath. As you inhale, your abdomen expands like a balloon. And as you exhale, it releases again. Continue following that physical sensation in the body as you bring yourself into the present moment. If you feel your mind wandering, just bring it back to the breath. And if you like, you're welcome to join me in opening class with a chant of Om. You can bring your hands to heart center. Take a big breath in. Draw your chin down and slowly open your eyes. Start with some side bends, so bring your right hand onto the mat beside you. Inhale nice and tall. Exhale your left hand over your shoulder, and if you like, you can open your chest towards the ceiling or keep your gaze facing forward. Try to bring length into both sides of the body, not just the top side. Release back to center. Inhale nice and tall, and exhale, reach your right hand beside you on the mat. Bring your left hand overhead. And again, if you like, opening your chest towards the ceiling. Keep a softness in the chest and neck area. And exhale, release. Sitting nice and tall still, let's bring our left hand behind us. Inhale our right hand up. Exhale, place it on your knee and twist over your right shoulder. So the twist starts at the base of the spine and moves up the vertebrae with the head looking last. Exhale, release to center. Inhale nice and tall again. Bring your right hand behind you. Inhale, left hand up. Exhale, bring it down to the opposite knee and turning over your left hand shoulder. So twisting the vertebrae like a layered cake, vertebrae by vertebrae. And exhale, release back through center. You can remove your block or other prop now, put it off to the side, and we'll move into table pose. So bringing the hips over top of the knees and the shoulders over the wrists. Again, finding that neutral spine. So that usually means engaging the core a little bit, like drawing the bottom ribs and the top of the pelvis towards each other just a little bit for that engagement. And then we'll move into cat-cow. So start to tilt your pelvis forward, lengthen the front of the spine, look up. Exhale, pelvis tilts back, round the spine, chin comes to chest like an angry cat. Matching breath to movement. Inhale, tilt forward, shoulder blades come back, down the back, look up, and exhale, round, down. Vertebrae by vertebrae. One more rotation. Inhale, lengthening the front of the body. And exhale, rounding back. And then let's come back to neutral spine. So take another moment to come back to core. And then just to fire up the core, what we'll do is lift the knees off just an inch off the ground. Just enough to feel that fire in the body. Let's exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, lift the knees up. Keep the spine neutral, core engaged. Exhale, down. Left foot comes back now, right hand up, ear height. Inhale to bring the ankle up to shoulder height as well. And then exhale, round down, knee to elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, extend. One more time. Exhale, knee to elbow, and inhale, extend. Exhale, back to table. Find that core engagement. Right foot back, left arm up. Exhale, round the spine, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round the spine, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. One more time. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale, release back. Knees come wide, moving into child's pose. So sitting our hips down towards the heels, hands extend out, allowing the spine to round just a little bit. So this is a pose you can come into at any point. It's the place of rest. If you like, you can come up onto your fingertips, staying in child's pose, and just to bring a little bit of release into the wrists, you might notice could be tired if you've been typing on a computer. And inhale, let's come back through table. Tuck our toes under. So you move the hands one hand length in front of you to widen your stance. Tuck the toes under and come into downward facing dog. Start with a big bend in the knees so we can lengthen the spine, and then we can start to straighten the legs a little bit. But first, let's just bend one leg at a time. So this is walk the dog, it's sometimes called. And again, bending the knees, lengthening the spine. Get a little shake of the head. Shake your head no. Nod your head yes. And let's come now into plank pose. So in plank pose, our shoulders, hips, and ankles are in one line. Our shoulders are over top of our wrists. We're engaging through the core. So you should feel like you're popping your spine up between your shoulder blades. Exhale, let's release the knees down to the mat and come down onto our bellies. Allow the feet to come flat. Inhale, baby cobra. So this is just using the back here. No arm assist. Warming up the back. Exhale, release. We'll do this twice more. Inhale, baby cobra. Shoulder blades draw down the back, into the back. Exhale, down. Inhale, back up. Engaging through the inner thighs. Look, we don't need our hands. We can even lift them off the mat. Now we're going to push back through cobra, through our knees, tuck the toes under, and come into downward facing dog. Keeping external rotation in our arms in downward facing dog. So our armpits are turning to face each other and flattening out across the top of our back. Look forward, come back into plank pose. So you're welcome here to lower down through your knees, or if you want, bring your shoulders forward, elbows stay over wrists as we lower down in one straight line. And I'm just scooting backwards here, so I'm on the mat. Okay, fingertips in line with the top of the shoulders. Inhale into baby cobra, or push up now into cobra. So pelvis, pubic bone stays rooted into the mat. Core is still engaged. That's how we protect our spine. Inhale again, cobra pose. Again, intentionally our inner thighs are moving up towards the ceiling. And inhale one more time, cobra pose. And this time we'll push back through our knees again and come into downward facing dog. Now let's start to take baby steps towards our hands, just 1 foot length at a time. Heel, toe, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel. Then we'll come into a forward fold. Again, nice bent knees here. That's what allows us to release our spine. Try to bring the weight a little bit towards the balls of your feet. You can hold opposite elbow if you like. Wiggle your toes. And then bringing the top of your femur bone over top of your ankle. Let's inhale, straighten the back. So come all the way up as far as you need to come up to straighten your spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, straighten your legs, straighten your spine, open your chest, half lift. Exhale, fold. And again, inhale, half lift. Last time. And this time, sweep your arms up, coming all the way to standing. And exhale, release your hands into Tadasana pose. So in Tadasana pose, we find equal grounding through the 4 corners of our feet. Our knees are pointed forward. We have slight engagement in our thighs, slight engagement in our core. Pelvis roots down, spine lengthens up, shoulders are over top of our hip bone, ears are over top of our shoulders, back of the neck is long. Now we'll just do 3 breaths, matching breath and movement of the arms here. So inhale, draw the arms up, look up. Bring length into the spine, and as you exhale, keep that length in the spine and just bring the arms and gaze back down. Okay, twice more. Inhale. Look up at the ceiling. Exhale, hands come back down, gaze comes forward. 1 more time. Inhale, arms up. Look up. Exhale. This time we'll fold all the way forward, coming into our forward fold. Inhale, half lift again. Exhale, place the hands down. We'll come back into plank pose and then push back into downward facing dog. Lift your right leg, keeping your hips square. So just lifting your heel as high as you can towards the ceiling. Exhale, knee towards chest. Round your spine to create room to bring that foot forward and drop the back knee down into low lunge. And you can bring your hands to rest on your thigh, or you can bring your arms up. Fortunately, you can't see my arms, but you know what they're doing here. So again, core is engaged. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but that's a very important lesson for life here. So what we're doing here is finding a hip stretch, lengthening also through that front quadricep. Let's come back into plank pose and exhale into downward facing dog. Inhale, now lift the left foot, 3-legged dog. Keep your big toes pointed towards the ground. Exhale, knee to chest, round the spine, and step the left foot forward, lowering the back knee. And again, thinking about tipping the pelvis backwards a little bit to take a little bit of that bend out of the lumbar spine. Inhale, arms come up beside the ears, and you can either keep your gaze forward or you can turn your gaze up towards the ceiling. Exhale, let's release down, tuck your back toes under, come into plank pose, and then downward facing dog. And again, let's walk or jump our feet towards our hands. As we inhale, we'll come into a half lift, lengthen the spine, open the heart. Exhale, fold into our legs. And inhale, arms up, coming up towards the ceiling, palms together. And exhale, arms come back beside our body. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen, lift, open the chest. Hands come up the shins. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, step back first into plank, and then through downward facing dog. And again, inhale, raise the right foot, three-legged dog. Bring the heel high, and the knee comes to chest. Step that foot forward, coming into runner's lunge. So first thing, make sure that right knee is over the right ankle. Lengthen the spine, open the chest. And then we'll come into high lunge. So you can keep your hands on your thigh. So what we're doing here is keeping the hips low, but we're lifting that left thigh. And again, increasing that stretch through the front quadricep and hip area. You can see I've got a big curve in my lumbar spine, but that's not necessarily a good thing. So try to minimize that. Arms are up. Exhale, come back down. We'll step back into plank pose and downward facing dog. And let's inhale, raise the left foot, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee comes toward the chest and step it through. Again, finding our low lunge, knee over ankle, hips are nice and low. Open up the chest, and then we come up, trying to draw our tailbone down, lifting the back thigh, and arms can come up beside the ears. So you don't have to have the arms together. I usually leave mine about shoulder distance apart. And your gaze can be forward here, or for more of a balanced challenge, you can look up towards the ceiling. Remember to keep your back toe firmly planted in the mat as well. Let's exhale, release down, step back into plank pose. And you can lower down here by lowering your knees to the mat, or you can move your shoulders forward, keeping your elbows over your wrists as you lower down in one line. So we'll do some back work here and allow your hands to come down beside you. Palms are facing up. We'll start with just the chest. So root down through your pelvis, inner thighs engaged towards the ceiling. And as you inhale, peel your chest off the mat, keeping your neck in line with your spine, shoulder blades down your back. Exhale, release down. Let's place our left ear down on the mat for 2 breaths. Bring your head back to center. We'll do what we just did. If you like, you can add the feet in. So as you inhale, chest peels off the mat and legs lift off too. Again, lifting through the inner thighs. So you're internally rotating your legs. And you're lengthening as well as lifting. So imagine that your sternum and your toes are moving in opposite directions here. And exhale, release. Let's bring our right ear down to the mat now. Take a couple of breaths. And again, let's bring our head straight. This time you can do any of the previous versions or interlace your fingers behind your back into Shalabhasana and inhale, lift off this way. So now we're bringing some more shoulders into the equation here. My feet are kind of straying far apart, but try to keep yours about hip distance apart. Lift, lengthen, and exhale to release. And again, we'll bring our left ear down to the mat for 2 breaths. And just to even things out, we'll interlace our hands the different way, different thumb on top. And one more time, inhale, lift, lengthen. So this is your deepest one yet. Engaging the back side of the body and lengthening the front side of the body. And exhale, release. Right ear down, and you might want to just wiggle your hips back and forth a little bit to release your low back. Let's bring our head back to center, bring our hands under our shoulders, push down, and we'll come back into child's pose. So knees come wide, hips come down towards our ears, and just a very passive child's pose, softening through the back side of the body. And And now let's come up. And we'll do some pose I like to call toe torture. So spread your toes apart. You want all the toes on the mat, so they're all getting a bit of attention here. Knees down. And the toe part, or the torture part, comes when we sit our hips down on our heels. You can come up when you need a break, but otherwise you're sitting on your heels and really flexing your toes. Stay here for 5 breaths. Inhale to release and exhale. One more time. The point of this is just to engage our toes in ways we don't always use them, and this will be good for balance, especially as we get older, or if you're a climber used to climbing shoes too. This is just a nice way to stretch out. Okay, release. You can tap your toes out. Go. Now we'll come into Virasana, hero pose. So you bring your heels behind your knees, or knees in line, and you want to be able to sit down between your hips. If you can't, like me, then you'll want to put something below or behind underneath your sit bone. So I need a couple of things here until I get to a place that feels good and my weight is supported. Inhale, raise your right arm, and then use your left arm to assist in a bit of a tricep stretch here. Or you can bring your other arm down and interlace your fingers. If you feel like this is too hard on your shoulders, just stay in the previous version. And we will exhale to release that. Bring your arms out wide, and then bring your arm across your chest and give yourself a little deltoid stretch. And release. Now raise your left arm, bend the elbow. You can assist with that stretch, or you can bring your bottom arm down and interlace your fingers. It probably feels easier on one side than the other. But this might feel like a nice release from computer work, especially if you're working at home and your ergonomics aren't as good as they usually are. You might find you've been a little bit more tense in your neck, shoulder area. To release that, bring the arms wide, and again, left arm across the body, and just the old gym class stretch. Meanwhile, we're also getting nice flexion into our ankles and knees in this pose. Let's move into a few shoulder circles. So we'll do 3 rolls, 3 big circles going back, and then 3 rolls going forward. Just notice if there's any particular points in this movement that are particularly sensitive. Okay, let's remove those props. We'll do a couple of seated postures here. So we'll start with Baddha Konasana. And again, you might want a bit of height here. So if you're going to sit up on something, think of your pelvis like a bowl of water. So if you want the pelvis tilted forward so the water is pouring out the front, bring your heels close to your pelvis. Inhale, straight spine. And exhale, if you like, you can round forward, release the chin, or release the neck, chin towards chest. You can also use your knees to push into your shins a little bit to bring more opening here, inner thigh stretch. Release that. Bring your feet nice and wide. You can do windshield wipers here by letting your knees fall first to one side and then to the other. If you have a strap, or in my case, a tie or a bathrobe, tie, belt, anything like that, and just place it around your feet now. Again, make sure your pelvis is tilted forward, nice long straight spine. Inhale the arms up and keeping them beside the ears. Exhale forward, keeping the spine long. If you want, you can round forward a little bit here too. My hamstrings are tight enough that I'll just keep a straight spine here, and I'm getting enough of the stretch this way. Think of your feet like they're still on the ground, so you're pushing down through your big toes. Toes are spread. Let's inhale, arms come back up, and exhale, release. So let's lie on our back. Let's cross right leg over left knee and allow the knees to come down to our left side. You are welcome to use any kind of prop to cushion between your knees and the floor, and then bring your gaze over your right shoulder. Of course, you can always do the non-twisted version of this pose as well. You want that cushion under the knee so that both your shoulders can be weighted onto the ground. Head back to center. Bring your knees back through center, uncross, left over right now, and left your knees come over to the right side, again moving your cushion. And then your gaze comes over the left shoulder. And I like to place my right hand on the outside of my left thigh there, just to kind of hold it in place. And let's bring our head back to center. Bring your knees back to center. You might want to hug your shins in here. You might want to roll out on your lower back a little bit. Give your kidneys a bit of a massage. And then it can be nice to do happy baby here. So drawing your heels up towards the ceiling, holding the outsides of your feet, bending the knees, keeping the ankles over the knees. Or you might want to bring the soles of your feet together. Draw your heels towards your pelvis. Whatever feels good here for our final poses. Oh, I guess we forgot to do bridge. No bridge this class. So we'll go into Shavasana. If bridge is part of your practice, feel free to pause and go into that. Feel free to grab any warm clothing you might want for your Shavasana pose. Make sure you can spread your hands out, feet apart, arms away from your body. I like to sort of draw my shoulder blades down my back and inch up the mat a little bit, just to traction them down my back. So you can take a few deep breaths. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Let any last tension in your body drain away. This is the last few minutes of class when you get to completely relax. You'll start to soften across the forehead and your crown of your head. Release your eye sockets, soften your cheeks. Allow your tongue to come away from the roof of your mouth. Your jaw relaxes. Soften your neck and chest area. Allow your shoulders, arms, wrists, and fingers to be heavy and soft. Your back feels heavy into the mat. The area around your heart space softens. Soften your abdomen area, your pelvis. Your glutes relax but remain heavy into the mat. Relax your hamstrings, your quadriceps, your calves, your shins, your ankles, your toes. Allow your whole body to relax and give yourself permission to do so for the next few minutes. up to you how long you decide to stay in this pose, but I recommend staying for at least a few minutes. Thank you for doing yoga with me today. Namaste.